Katie quotes, "Blood makes you related. Love and loyalty makes your family." Why should a pet bereavement be treated any differently? How can companies become emotionally intelligent regarding a pet bereavement? How can companies and society understand the impact of pet bereavement on our well-being? Global media should support with more information. Hanlon's research in 2011 shows us that pet owners interacting with a pet dog can actually decrease the cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, likely to be present during those who are grieving. Does this mean that owning a pet dog can actually help you overcome or decrease the stages of grief? I was surprised to see a 9-week-old King Charles Cavalier when I was on Skype to my mum in Las Vegas. I named her Sandy. For as long as I can remember, we have always had dogs in our family. And one dog I developed a fatherly bond with was a King Charles Cavalier called Brandy. As I haven't had children, she became like a child to me. During her 10 years of life, we shared loads of happy times together. She would lick me to cheer me up. She would sit with me when I was ill. She was there for me through the good times and the bad. One of those times being through the passing of my nan due to pancreatic cancer when I was 17 years old. On Brandy's 10th year, she was diagnosed with a heart murmur, with only months to live. During these times, I was facing tough thoughts mentally, knowing that Brandy had a terminal illness and I would have a decision to make to maybe put her to sleep. I spent as much time as I could with her, but time was a gift due to me working in a busy recruitment job, and sometimes my job required me to work in different locations. I was worried I wasn't going to be there at the end. On the day Brandy had to go to the vets, as I was driving to the vets, I begged aloud for one last goodbye. Upon arriving at the vets, seeing my mum crying in the waiting room, the agony I was starting to feel, I'd thought I missed Brandy's last moments of life, but it wasn't the end. She was still alive. We got to spend our last 30 minutes with her. And as the vet came into the waiting room, Brandy chooses to pass in my arms by herself, just before receiving the injection. This action was a final goodbye to me, and I believe to ease my pain and grievance. She was treating me like her parent. The grief I felt was unbearable. For those who have lost a pet would know how this feels. Pets are like our children. We feed them, play with them, keep them safe. I wasn't behaving like myself. My normal routines and habits were affected. I didn't want to socialize with my friends. I found doing my normal job tough. What support was there for me in grieving for Brandy? I was facing limited awareness of a pet bereavement within society. It was as if society didn't prepare me for this. And I found it difficult to express myself within a professional environment. I saw no TV adverts for advice, no advertising for support services. It was as if society didn't recognize the unique bond between a pet owner and their pet. there was no legal grievance days off work, as if there would if you lost a child. And still for some companies, there are no similar policies in place. My cortisol levels was increased. I was confused about how I was feeling. I needed to find a resource to help me. So I started looking online for pet bereavement books. I went to the library and I asked the librarian for help. I ended up buying a book and I took it with me to read in Las Vegas. It helped me understand the 5 stages of grief. But it wasn't enough to make me feel happier or positive again. All I could think about was the memories of Brandy. Other people who have lost pets would have experienced similar feelings, like the expectations from companies and peers to continue on as normal. And the unique bond a pet owner has with their pet can last a lifetime. How do we know how pet bereavement can impact on our well-being? My friend Chrissy, who lost her first pets, rabbits, explained she felt it difficult to cope and her home empty. This impacted on her personal and professional life. She decided not to tell her company, as she didn't think they would understand. For dogs, there are approximately 13.5 million in the UK, with 36% of households owning a dog. But owning a pet comes with more responsibility within society. It takes constant nurturing, and companies could provide more staff benefits for pet owners, such as paid leave for vet appointments. How powerful is the bond between a human and a pet? How precious are dogs to humans? Dogs in particular provide humankind with a service. They can be trained in looking after the blind or deaf people. Does anyone truly know the relationship between a blind person and their blind dog? Other areas: military working, herding, therapy, and police support dogs. Search and rescue dogs for FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency in the USA, has over 280 certified dogs to help locate people during disasters. One example of how a dog saved a human's life. House, a German Shepherd, saved a 7-year-old girl's life in Florida. The little girl came face to face with a dangerous rattlesnake in their backyard. House, her faithful protector, jumped in the way, getting his leg bitten 3 times to save the girl's life. This example, and there are hundreds more, shows us that pets are not just our pets, but they are our family. The unique bond a pet owner has with their pet is individual to them. I'm not making the comparison for those unfortunate parents who have lost a child. But if a pet owner has lost a pet and hadn't had a child, could this feel like this to them? Clearly, more psychological research is needed in this area. I remember how my nan protected me once. When I was 8 years old, we was on a bike ride. We approached a hill. And my nan said to me, "Whatever you do, Jamie, don't go too fast down that hill." And what did I do? I went racing down that hill, rode into a drain, went flying over my handlebars, and hit my head on the ground. My nan came rushing over to me to take care of me. I don't know how she did it, but she managed to carry me and the 2 bikes all the way back to her home to heal my bruises. I recall how Brandy was also loyal to me once. On a dog walk with my parents one day, she managed to walk away while they were talking. She remembered the way back to our family home. She walked back into the house to be with me again. After many stressful hours of searching for her, my parents were delighted to find Brandy safe and sound back with me again. On a global scale, how can companies become more emotionally intelligent regarding the pet bereavement? And why not adapt staff benefits for having a pet? Should the media focus its advertising strategies regarding pet bereavement? I want to shout out loud that losing a pet is heartbreaking. It is an unconditional love. It was a blessing for me to have another dog come back into my life again. My mum made a smart decision in finding Sandy to help ease the grievance of her son. But not everyone has another pet. It takes courage to love again. After seeing Sandy on Skype, not only was she the same breed and colouring as Brandy, she had similar personality and characteristics as well. It was a miracle for me to have another part of Brandy come back into my life again, and having Sandy now help me overcome the grievance of Brandy. If pets treat us like their parents, shouldn't we treat them like our children? Katie quotes, "Blood makes you related. Love and loyalty makes you family." Thank you.